Let's be real. 121 with young Bernie Sanders in the cut. How it's
Yes, sir.
going?
Big chillin' as always. Big- Well, first of all, Bernie Sanders has been everywhere over the past couple of days. I'm not sure how he manages to be in so many places at one time, but definitely appreciate young Bernie for
Hey,
stopping through with Let's
hey,
Be Real.
real talk. Shout out to Bernie Sanders for hopping aboard this train because I just read that he was selling T-shirts and sweatshirts for $40 with their pick on there. Sold out within minutes and
He's a hustler. A
donated to
hustler.
Meals for Wheels in Vermont, if I'm not mistaken. So,
I didn't even realize he was selling them. I would have bought one.
I would too, but
It could probably still be Amazon Prime to you. Never know.
Mhm.
true that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. Young Sheedy.
All right. We are missing one, but we got a feeling with Bernie. Instead of there being a substitute teacher, there seems to be a substitute student. However, class is yet back in session. We took a week off. We were on winter break, but we're back this week. Just a few things I do want to discuss at the table. I think that we went in links to talk about what happened on January 6th, 2021, with the attack on the Capitol. But we need to show just as much praise, if not more, for what happened 2 weeks after that for the inauguration. And so I do want to ask my brothers, I know Bernie's response, but how did you all, two parts, how did you feel about the inauguration, right? And then what do you look forward to President Biden doing for us as a community, as a nation, or what have you? And the order can go. I want to definitely, I know Took's got something he wants to say. We've been talking at length. So we'll go Took, Trevor, and then Sharkey, and Skylar.
Yeah, man. Well, for the inauguration, man, it was just a beautiful thing to witness. You know what I'm saying? Especially the first black female vice president to come in office. I think that inspired a lot of women, young girls. You saw plenty of videos on social media of young girls just, being able to feel that moment, and it was a beautiful thing to see. Congratulations to Joe Biden. I'm expecting to see one thing. I guess more stimulus for the people, definitely. As we come out of this, pandemic. I think that'll be one thing that'll look forward to because they promised a lot of, money to be helped, as far as like canceling loans and stuff like that. So a lot of things that we voted them into, especially for the black women, voted them into. They have a lot. They have a lot on their plate as far as like making sure that those promises are kept. But I look forward to seeing them, check it off, boom, 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 because this is what got y'all in office, and I think Biden and Kamala Harris will get it done.
Well, personally, for me, didn't really have the opportunity to see the inauguration like I would have wanted to because I was working, obviously, was doing work hours. But for what I did see, I saw the opportunity for progress to be made in this nation, especially with Kamala Harris being the first black woman vice president. Excuse me, completed it all there. As far as what I'm looking forward to with the administration, just basic accountability, just holding them accountable for all the things that they're saying that they're going to do. Of course, with everything transpiring with the pandemic, everybody's still getting the stimulus checks, things of that nature. Potential student loan forgiveness. Of course, payments have been deferred as of now, if I'm not mistaken, to September 30th. So you won't have to make a payment on your student loans till October of this year. And just it's hopeful, and it's really hopeful that finally, we address the problem that's been plaguing this nation since its inception, and that's white supremacy. So that's pretty much just accountability and just continuing to have some sort of progress to kind of repair what we've had to endure for the past 4 years.
Piggyback off both Trevor and Took. It was great to see Kamala Harris and just like my uncle made a post of my three little cousins and what they had to say. Very funny what they had to say, but it was just like, just seeing three young girls to actually see, a black woman at the Capitol and stuff. That was great to see. And just Joe Biden, his energy, his energy. I mean, yeah, he's older. Everyone calls Sleepy Joe, but his energy was great. And just his positivity. It's just a breath of fresh air versus what we've had the last 4 years. And it was just great to see. So looking forward to this presidential election. I heard Gary Parrish was talking. It's like, Donald Trump was so polarizing. And he's like, hey, some people are thinking maybe this next presidency is going to be boring, but boring is good.
Right.
Like, I don't care right now. So
Exactly.
For me, didn't get a chance to look at the inauguration on TV, but just from what I saw on social media, from what I've heard, just from people talking, I heard it went well. I heard it was nothing but success. As far as what I'm looking for, kind of to echo a little bit what Sharky said, I'm looking for a calm in the midst of the storm, I guess. Like it's just so much going on. You're talking about stimulus checks over here. You're still dealing with the coronavirus here. And so just what I'm looking for that administration to do is just trying to get everything back level, kind of give us a peace of mind. Dealing with Donald Trump for 3.5, 4 years was absolutely a mess. So I'm just kind of looking forward to the administration to kind of help us progress, help us kind of get over the coronavirus, kind of get us to the point where we can go outside again, and stuff like that. So kudos to the administration. Kudos to President Joe Biden. Then also major congrats to Kamala Harris as well too. I think we've talked at length on the show many times about Black women and the great things that they could do. So seeing someone such as her being elected to such a high position, it is nothing but great thing. So I'm excited for that. I'm just looking forward to them helping out Black people in the middle class.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I also am an educator, so yeah, I did as well. Make sure the students watched the inauguration because it's as powerful as the attack on the Capitol was on January 6th. We need to give just as much praise, if not more praise, for what happened on the 20th. I do have one thing that I disagree with you guys about, and just hear me out. Kamala Harris is not the first Black vice president. For all of us that already know and are married, it's your wife. Michelle Obama was the first Black vice president, okay? And she came to slay like she did. And as you look at her as compared to what she did in 2016, two completely different Michelles. Back then, she was maybe like a Meg back then, but on the 20th, she was Michelle Obama. And so that was my first Black woman vice president. But anyways, congratulations on the inauguration. One thing that I want to talk about that we haven't hit upon about student loans and just getting us back coronavirus, which I'll talk about as well towards the end, is there was a thing that Joe Biden did that rescinded what Donald Trump was trying to do. It was called the 1776 bill. And what that bill was going to do was literally rewrite history of what happened back in 1776 and what's happening in the year 2020. The reason why you don't hear about that was because it was one of the last executive orders that Donald Trump was trying to slide on through. And Sleepy Joe was sleeping on it, woke up on it, and rescinded that thing right back to the trash can. Our people deserve to know exactly what happened in 2020. They deserve to know exactly what happened with America. They deserve to know that America was built by Blacks on the back of Blacks. And we're not going to change history books because of 20 people that Donald Trump had hired to rewrite history and possibly go into the education system like that. Not happening. So I'm proud of Joe Biden for that. We also have our first Black Secretary of Defense as well. So shout out to that. And the guy that was a part of the Capitol Hill on January 6th, got him a real job now. He ain't just guarding it right now, right? He done moved on up to the east side to Deluxe apartment in the sky.
There you go.
So shout out to him and where he was going. So let me, I'm gonna switch gears. I'm gonna switch it back to Tuke for a moment because he did have something else that he wanted to add on, and then I'll close out. Go ahead, Tuke.
Bet. So one thing that we do have to that we are going to look forward to, because this is a sports podcast and we do talk about what's going on in our culture and in our community. So one of the things that President Biden did as he got to work was sign a bunch of executive orders. But one of the executive orders that he did sign that pertains to our podcast is one that will allow transgender young men to be able to compete with girls in sports. So I wanted to get you all thoughts, especially you all that have, the girl daughters. I hate Savage couldn't be on the way. So I guess we can get this playing next week. But I would love for y'all to talk about what this will mean for watching your daughters growing up and seeing, and competing with, transgender guys, young boys.
Gotcha. To me, transgender is like the next civil rights movement, so to speak. We had the civil rights movement. We've had more of the homosexual movement, right? And being more acceptable of those that, do that type of thing. And now we're here with this movement. And I'm all for transgender movement and everyone else. As long as you live and you believe in the same thing that I believe in, we're all good. And we have no problem. You're asking me about how I feel like if Alea is playing basketball, so to speak, and she's going against someone that was not actually, purely, I guess, woman, so to speak. I want to train up my daughter to battle everything. And so if it is another woman, a beast of a woman, because we done seen Brittany Griner, she's about 7 feet of them things. And so I want to train her up to always battle whatever it may be. And so regardless of whatever is in front of her, in front of Aiden, in front of anyone that I call niece, nephew, whatever it may be, my job is to train you up as your father, as the man, to battle that, period, point blank. But also be respectful of whatever is going on as well.
Just for me, real quickly, I think for me, I think it was a good idea that he did it. I think as we talk about gender equality and making sure that men don't have more rights than a woman does, or whatever the case may be, I think that's a good step in the right direction. Just to make sure that everyone has a voice, everyone has a say, so no one is being told no for the color of their skin or what religious beliefs that they have, or whatever the case may be. So I'm definitely for him passing the bill. As far as what that looks like for Eva, what that looks like for any woman, girl going through this particular thing, like I said, it kind of goes back to what she said too. I'm just going to train Eva just to be a boss. I mean, I'm going to train her if she wants to go into sports, if she wants to go into dancing, that it doesn't matter who is on the other side of that court or dance floor. Your job, if that's what you want to do, is to go out and kill. And that's as simple as that.
That's what's up. Shark Trev, y'all have anything to add?
For me, first look at it, I didn't really like it. I got most of my little cousins are girls. So think of transgender men, we are, honestly, we're stronger than women. It just is what it is. We're genetics. We're just physically stronger than them. So knowing that a transgender man turned to a woman, it's almost an unfair advantage. But like Sheedy and Scott said, train your daughters up to be prepared to beat them. We saw the move Juwanna, man. He was out there dominating, but the women still were. It was a movie, but they were still competing with him. So it wasn't it was just like he was just far away the best player. So hey, it is what it is. Just a new way. It's a new way of life that we are in now. So like speaking back to Scott's point, they kind of swayed me some, just saying, like you said, equality and stuff. But just originally saying, I didn't really like it, but I wasn't just like, oh, this is outrageous. I wasn't like that either. It was just more, Nah.
Well, for me, I was actually pretty ecstatic for it when Biden passed this bill. Just because as a nation, we're moving, as Sheedy mentioned before, is more of a movement, moving more towards of a more inclusive society, which is great. As far as for when my eventual children is concerned, for having to deal with this, like the great Marshawn Lynch say, as I'm just gonna tell my daughter, just run through a mother face. It's just that simple. So for me, I'm all for it. I feel that as long as it's not causing harm to anyone, whatever you choose to identify as, that is your private business. That's your truth. I feel you should live your truth to the best of your abilities, and don't let anyone or anything tell you that you have to do otherwise. So I'm all for it. So it's just me.
I appreciate y'all. So, in a moment of inclusion, how soon do y'all see a woman quarterback in the NFL?
I don't think we're ever going to get it.
You don't think so?
No.
I think to Sharky's point, men are built differently than women. And in the case of football, I think that's a little bit different. Even we can't. So if you leave high school football, you don't go right to the pros. You have to develop at least 2 to 3 years in college. Whereas basketball, you can leave high school and do it 1 year in college, or 10 games, and then go right to the league. And so I think it's also about body development. I don't think we're quite there yet to do that. I know we got the lingerie league or something like that that's out there, for those that don't know. But I don't see Dak being Deborah.
And just from Sheedy's point, from the physical standpoint, I'm looking at it from a political standpoint, just with the NFL as a whole. You got the NFL, which is arguably one of the most popular sports leagues, not just in the nation, but in the entire world, period. And you're talking about an organization that's extremely conservative. We'll get into it later when we're talking about the situation with black coaches. So if that is an issue now with the situation with black coaches, God knows what's the situation going to be if you're trying to have a female quarterback. Also, to touch on it too, Vanderbilt had a female kicker just this past season.
I guess I should have said this female player, period. Yeah. So let's switch it to female player, period. Then, like, it just in a moment of inclusion, because I feel that the game is getting a little softer, guys. And because you already have a kicker there that's starting the trend, and you got Ice Cube that's teaching Lil Kiki how to throw the football. You know what I'm saying? So that's 10 years later, and then 10 years from now, who says Lil Kiki can finally get a contract for a team somewhere?
Yeah, I don't want to say the league is getting softer. I think as I've watched more football, I think I understand where the league is coming from and what they're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, I'm about to answer a question here in a second too. At the end of the day, I'd rather see Tom Brady or I'd rather see Aaron Rodgers versus whoever their backup quarterback is. And whatever means they have to take in order to get to that position or that particular standpoint, then that's what they got to do. Do I see a female quarterback playing in the league? I don't want to say no. I don't want to see. I don't want to say I won't ever see it, because we've seen some crazy things. But I personally don't see it. But I think we will start to see, to Trevor's point, because he just said it. I think you'll start to see more, maybe kickers, punters. But man, we're starting to see this now. You're starting to see more women in coaching. We actually got the first female referee in the Super Bowl coming up. So you'll start to see things more like that. But a quarterback, and he's pushing it.
Yeah. I actually played against a girl in middle school. She played, I think, strong safety for American Way. I said Jeter. But NFL in middle school / high school, I think we had a woman college football player that played at like a D3 school or something. Just last year, we mentioned on the podcast. I forgot her name. But NFL, yeah. NFL is the strongest of the strongest and the best of the best. That's a whole different ball game. So I'm not like Scouter said, I don't want to say ever. We'll never see it because we see some crazy things, but that's NFL's probably pushing it.
Then you're looking at cheap owners too. Like, how many of these actual owners are really going to sit there and be like, I'm going to chalk away $50+ million for a woman quarterback? I mean, it's crazy, as misogynistic as that sounds, and as terrible as it sounds. That's probably going to be the mindset of these owners in the league. So, like I said, as far as a quarterback, absolutely not. Like, I don't think it's ever going to happen. But we'll definitely see more kickers, more punters, more women in coaching, and definitely more women referees. But as far as a quarterback, that is a stretch. A little bit too much dip on the chip there.
Sheedy?
Yeah. Thank you for that. And as we close out with class, we went national. I want to make sure we come home, as always. In the great state of Memphis, sometimes the great state of Tennessee. Let's be aware. Let's be aware that there is a new strand of coronavirus, and it has actually officially landed in the state of Tennessee. I bring that up because, one, we talked about the coronavirus and the checks earlier, but two, I bring that up because our Governor Lee, who, if you don't know Governor Lee, he is the back pocket of Donald Trump. Anywhere Donald Trump goes, Governor Lee can surely be sniffing that butt right behind him. Governor Lee was trying to legitimately, hear me out, defund education virtually to have students go back to school. If we close down all of these schools and all these districts for 14 cases at the time, and it wasn't as deadly as a strain as it is now, why are we trying to reopen up now with even more cases? And I get the point. Trust me, I'm an educator. I know there's less, interactive learning and stuff like that. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say Governor Lee is not for the people that look like you and I, the people that don't have the means and necessary ways to actually afford better health care. He doesn't come and ask us at the schools or the school district or even the superintendent if this was a good idea. He's deciding to do this on his own. The same way Donald Trump was writing that 1776 bill and trying to pass that. So in the words of Trevor, in the words of Tuke, stay woke. Class dismissed. Man.
I like the shirt. I'm digging the shirt. That's what's up.
Love it, brother. Love it.
Another great class session, man.
As always.
Yeah. Don't look like Barney was able to kind of stay with her throughout the little class, but I'm pretty sure we'll see.
Yeah, he said he said we got it. He sleep.
Yeah, he got
shout out to the Jordan 1s for officially becoming a business casual footwear now, because I believe Kamala Harris's nephew-in-law was walking the steps of the Capitol rocking them, and I believe Joe Biden's granddaughter or something like that was rocking them as well in the Capitol. So yeah, shout out to the Air Jordan 1s for becoming the new business footwear. So progress.
Nice. Free class.
I just got a text from the principal. Bernie never made it to detention yet. Sorry, I gotta go find Bernie.
All right, man.
You gonna find Bernie sitting in the teacher's lounge next to the vending machine.
He's the regular ladies. Eating tuna burger.
No, you know he in the M, so you know they gonna have them golden plates.
Speaking of the tuna burger.
Start the show and then we'll get to the tuna burger.
Mm-hmm. What y'all talking about?
Where's that?
Yeah.
All right, let's start the show.
Start the show.
I don't know. What's up?
let's be real. 121. How y'all fellas doing?
Bernie Sanders chilling around here, so
Yes, Bernie Sanders chilling. Not at all.
Dang, we're a day away. It could have been the 121 on the 21st day of the 21st year of all that 21st century, blah, blah, blah.
Technically,
the 22nd year.
Yeah, it's 22nd year, technically.
Yes, 22nd year. You got to count to 1,000.
Yeah. Hey. It's the 22nd, we good. It's the 22nd, we good.
Before we get started, man, we lost a legend today. Rest in peace. Hank Aaron, man. Died at age 86.
Sheesh.
Home run king.
Man.
Yes.
But I'm going to kick it off with the Memphis Tigers, who just came off of a win, might I add. So, Skyler, maybe you don't need to watch them games because they win about 20 points when you didn't watch. But before they won a game, they played their first game in about a month? It had been a while.
Yeah, it was about a month.
And they proceeded to lose to Tulsa again. How many times in a row have we lost to Tulsa now? 4.
It's about 3 or 4. Yeah, it's about 3 or 4. And we used to always beat Tulsa. Always.
And I mean, the last 2 times we lost, we had to lead and just can't score the last 5 minutes of the game. Same old stuff, just a different game that happened Sunday. But then we rebounded and beat Wichita State by 20 yesterday with Dan Dockich calling the game.
Oh,
Dan Dockich called the game. Yeah.
Yes, he did. Hayden.
Okay.
Yep. So, real quick, what y'all thought about this week for the Tigers? Tuke, Sheedy, Trevor, Skyler, you going last? You going to talk?
Hey man,
even if it's brief.
I'm gonna be brief then. Just good energy in the second half, but one stat that I did not like, and I guess you can blame it on our first game in forever, right? Was that we turned the ball over on 10 of 33 of our first half possessions. Like that's something that was uncalled for. Like we got to get it under control. I want to blame it on the fact that it's our first game back, but
no, that's what
at this point it's like I can't. But they did, and I'm referring to in the Wichita State game as well for the people that are listening. But the turn up in the second half was a 47-33 in the second half. They did what they were supposed to do, came out with energy, stopped turning the ball over as much, and we got the dub. So I'll keep it short on that one.
Yeah, let me help you out. Turnovers are going to continue to plague the University of Memphis. We've been talking about this for at least 2 to 3 years now, unfortunately. But yeah, shout out to that second half insurgents. I'm not sure what happened. And what happened within that locker room. But to score 47 points when I feel like I think Skyler mentioned before that they only scored like 45 points. Just to see them do that in one half was great. Shout out to Landers giving us 16 and 7. And he made I think like 3 or 4 3-pointers. I think he might have actually been perfect from the 3-point line. But I really liked Moose, the Moose of Memphis. Clogged up the paint. I mean, he only showed his stat line, I think, only like 2 or 3 blocks, but his presence, after you block a shot, you don't go back in the hole as often. And so I think that also I think that caused a lot of confusion for Wichita State. And this isn't the same Wichita State, by the way, either. I wonder, like, Lester went almost the entire game, right? And his stat line doesn't really show it, but clearly quality at some type of guard forward position that he's at with Penny. And is this going to be the new trend that is for the University of Memphis Tigers? But at the end of the day, we've talked about this at length. A win is a win, no matter who you play. So shout out to them for getting that win against Wichita State.
And Wichita State beat Tulsa by 19 when they played. So,
and what happened when we played Tulsa?
Exactly. We beat that team. They beat them by 19. So,
from what I did watch with the second half, I've heard Dan Dockich and a lot of people talking about how this game could potentially be a turnaround for the Tigers, and I'll be a firm believer of that when I actually see it. As Sheedy said, Landers Nolly was Landers Nolly. He chipped in with 16 points. He was almost perfect from the field. He was actually 4 or 5. from the field.
I know the one he missed. The ugly ass skyhook.
Exactly.
That y'all went over the back of the goal, boy.
Yeah, that was the only one he missed. Wichita State had no answer for Musa Cisse. He was 12-10 with 12 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks. And it wasn't just with his scoring and everything. It was, as she mentioned just previously, his presence down low. Not only just blocking shots, but being able to adjust shots and make things a little bit difficult down there for Wichita State. Tuke, your boy, Alo, chipped in nice with 12 points, 6 assists. Made his second and third 3 of the season this year. So kudos to
Alo, there. Credit. What's up?
I'm giving him his credit. So
Matter of fact, the game turned. Matter of fact, they were losing when he
for Memphis on a max 3. So we giving him his credit.
I'm with you, brother. I'm talking about the rest of these busters.
talking about Skyler.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I appreciate that. It. Come on, man.
But like I said, until I see something of substance, honestly, even though this may have been the turning point, until I see it, I'm still a firm believer that this is not an NCAA tournament team. This is more of a CBI team. I don't even think they'll be in the NIT. They'll probably be in the College Basketball Invitational, if they're even going to have that this year. Given the way everything's going on with the pandemic. So. But good win for the Tigers.
Is it me?
Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer that when somebody shows you who they are, then you believe them. I did not watch the Wichita State game. I'm going to solely talk about the Tulsa game. I don't care about the Wichita State game. Wichita State is not Wichita State anymore. The Memphis Tigers, after being out for about 3 to 4 weeks, about a month, showed up against Tulsa and only put up 57 points. Only shot 26% from 3. They have shown us that several times. So what they did yesterday or what they did recently against Wichita State means absolutely nothing to me. I tweeted this, and I'm so serious when I say this. I do not have time to watch the Memphis Tigers scrap and claw to only get 50-55 points and still lose. If they were winning, scoring 50-55, I would watch it. But I don't have time for that. I have a daughter. I have a wife. I have not much time to watch the Memphis Tigers stress me out that much. I'm sorry. I'm over the Memphis Tigers. I will watch them again when I believe and consistently, because consistency is key, Sharky. I will not watch them again until I consistently see them put up. I consistently see them win. I don't care how many points they put up. They can win 30 to 28 for all I care. But I'm not watching them anymore. They look absolutely terrible on offense. I don't care what they did against Wichita State. They look terrible on offense. And they've looked terrible on offense, not just this season, not just last season. They have looked terrible on offense since Jeremiah Martin left, and we talked about this in Grooming. I don't understand for the life of me how he has way more talent on this roster than he did when Jeremiah Martin was here. And the year Jeremiah Martin was here, we were scoring at least 80 points against Tennessee. At least. We were scoring 70, 80 points. And we have more talent on this team's roster, on this year's roster, and last year than we did when he was here. I'm sorry, I'm not watching the Memphis Tigers again. If they go undefeated, so if I need to stop watching the rest of the games for the rest of the season so they can go undefeated, so they can make the tournament, I guess I'm the odd man out. I guess I'm the bad luck. So I'm not watching any more games. There's that. I'm done.
Nah, everyone went for brief too.
Yeah,
full turn up.
Let's get all that out. Sorry, I've been waiting.
You for real? You not gonna watch the game?
Yeah, I'm so serious. Did you see me tweet about the game yesterday?
Nah, you tweeting about the Lakers.
Yeah, he was talking about the Lakers.
I was too busy watching. I was at least watching a team that could at least score 100 points. Now I understand it's the NBA, but I was at least watching somebody hit that. I don't have time for them to struggle. Like I don't have time to do that.
Yeah. To Skyler's point.
You acting like Tiger Shred's been a new thing, bro. We've been through this since college.
Right, but then why continue to let yourself be stressed out? I don't have time for that too. I'm almost 30. I'm almost out of my prime, dude. I need to watch basketball. I need to watch some type of sports where I can just chill, root for my team, root for a specific player. Tigers ain't doing
Too bad
it.
Alabama ain't playing no more.
Yeah. I mean, at least Alabama could at least put on 50 on football, so Tigers can't even do that.
Oh,
Too
man.
soon. Too soon.
Let's move along.
Woo-wee. That was a high fire, man. Toscano's Quanto.
So,
Yeah, Toscano's Quanto with me. I mean, that was probably the first game I watched, almost a full game. I stopped at 7 o'clock because Grownish came on, so I missed the beginning of the second half. But outside of that, I don't really like Sunday.
My son on Chloe.
Oh, you better be lucky. Joy ain't watching this episode. But
I heard about to sleep now.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, man, back to Sunday. I was watching NFL. It was on the side TV, so I glanced over every now and then. I saw the ending, but I was really paying attention to the games we're gonna talk about later. It's college basketball. It's terrible to watch. College basketball in general is terrible to watch. I mean, I tried the last Saturday. Ooh,
Kentucky getting beat.
I love seeing that though. I watch Kentucky get beat all day, 24/7. But
I saw the first bracketology come out, and it had Duke as one of the first 4 teams out.
Yeah, they're not good this year.
I know they're not good this year, but I'm just saying that's
Duke, Kentucky, and North Carolina probably won't make the tournament if it starts today.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But before I finish with the Tigers, a couple of new announcements happened this week. One of the 2021 recruits, number 56, and about 247 rankings, Jordan Nesbitt has enrolled on campus. He might be able to play the season. 6'6" guard. Hope he can play point guard and shoot the ball because that's what they need.
Is exactly what you said. Hopefully he can shoot the ball and hopefully he can score. So
what Kodak Black at, man? I hope so. Like,
I hope so. Exactly.
Shout out to him getting pardoned by Donald Trump, him and Lil Wayne and a couple other people.
Nah, he left the Tiger King though, man. I don't appreciate that.
I don't appreciate that either, dog. He could have freed Joe Exotic, dog.
Yeah, he could have freed Joe. He could have freed him.
But Lance Thomas transferred. I mean, cool.
That was bound to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's Scout. He played 1 minute yesterday, as a matter of fact. But Scout.
Good.
Now that's great.
It's good. No, seriously, it's good because
There's less players play.
thank you. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Less players opinion.
Because him rolling out 10 people within the first 5 minutes, didn't watch the game, but I heard about it. You putting out 10 players within the first 5 minutes. Come on. Come on.
Sheedy.
Can I just about Nesbitt, before his last 10 games that he had, I don't know what he's doing, like, I guess, whatever, before he came to Memphis, right? Averaging 17, 9, 4, and 1 at the guard position. Also, to your point, Skyler, and everyone else's point, University of Memphis is only averaging 70.7 points a game.
I'm shocked they average there.
I didn't realize it was that high.
Right. I'm shocked it's there.
Whoa. That is 153rd in adjusted offensive efficiency.
I'm still shocked.
So it's trash. Just know that it's trash. That 70.7 sounds good. It's trash. Next subject. Sorry.
I didn't think it sounded good, but I still
I
shocked.
think it was high. 70. I'm surprised it's that high.
Adjusted, I think that's with, like, if this was like NBA type of deal. So now you get it, right? So, like, if we really take 40 minutes.
Points per 100 possessions is probably what that is. That's probably what that is.
So, Skyler, let's say it's game day, right? You're not going to watch it. So are you going to be checking your phone, like, to see the score updates? Or how soon are you going to just be like, hey, did the Tigers win? You done. You completely done.
I'm not watching them until I know for a fact they are consistently winning. Nothing's changed.
I think what's gonna happen, he's gonna get the update on his phone, the notification. He's just gonna glance at it and just be like, okay, and just keep it moving.
Text Bianca and ask her, did I at least look at Memphis stats game, anything. You can text her, and I promise, I know exactly what she's gonna say. She's gonna say no, because I never once looked at it. I didn't care. I did not care.
Man, about to treat the Tigers like I treated the Chicago Bulls, man. He done.
That's what it sounds like.
He ain't the only one.
Well, you can't go back to Duke though, because they're not making the tournament either. So.
I'm a fan of the team. I'm just not watching them. Still a fan. I'm just not watching them.
Yeah,
I don't have time to be stressed.
All right, man. Look on the bright side though. They can't get worse than what the team on the west side of the state is in football right now.
You mean the east side? You mean the east side of the state?
East side, yeah, east side. My bad, yeah.
On the east side of the state. Whoo-wee. For those that have been under a rock for like the past, I would say the past month, the Tennessee Volunteers have now found themselves in what people will call a scandal. And this stems from basically the report that came out that they were going to be doing investigations upon themselves. This was after they were gifted a shot in the Liberty Bowl, despite only winning 3 games in the season. And they had to pull out because they had players testing positive for COVID, which eventually led to the firing of head coach Jeremy Pruitt and the resignation of Philip Fulmer, the athletic director.
Good riddance.
Since then, 4 players on record, including standout running back from the great state of Memphis, Eric Gray, and Henry Tolo, who was the middle linebacker, led the team in tackles last season and was on the SEC All-Freshman team 2 seasons ago, have now officially entered the transfer portal. Then, of course, the thing that's coming out as far as recruiting trips where money was being passed around in McDonald's bags. And I'm willing to go out on a limb and say it was probably the McDonald's on the strip closest to the campus. I've been up there, so I know exactly which one. I'm going to go last on this one, so I'm just going to start. Tuke, Skylar, Sheedy, Sharky, and then myself, man. Just go. I just go.
Oh, man, it really sounds like somebody been watching too much Power Book 2 with the bag going around past and McDonald's bags, man. Come on, man. Here you go. But nah, it looks like somebody that really didn't care what they were doing. Like, this is the most careless thing I've seen Tennessee do in it. So I definitely want to hear from the Tennessee fans on this stuff. They watch too much foul. Oh, man.
For me, I'll say this. I don't see an issue with it because I personally feel like players should be paid anyway. And the only reason they got called is because the Tennessee football team was just that bad. Point blank. Because I'm pretty sure what they're doing ain't nothing different than what Alabama's doing. I'm pretty sure it ain't nothing different than what Clemson is doing. I'm pretty sure it ain't nothing different than what Ohio State's doing. They just got caught. Sorry.
Why would the National League come after them though? If they
it wasn't even that they got caught. Because remember, this investigation was self-imposed. This happened because they were losing.
That's the only reason. That is the only reason why this is being talked about. Because let's just say, hypothetically speaking, y'all went 8-3, 8-4. Would this be talked about? Nope. Jeremy Pruitt would still have his job, and we would not be talking about players getting money in McDonald's bags. The only thing that I have to say about this is I'm glad it won a Burger King bag.
Because it would have been money, huh? Oh, shit. One stop.
Yeah, speaking of tuna. But actually, speaking of rocks, right? And I agree, like, this happens with, like, all schools. They just really got caught. But speaking of rocks, I don't know if you guys have seen the post at the University of Tennessee, but they literally painted the rock with a Happy Meal. And they also put on that rock, University of Tennessee, they said, we're loving it, right? And so, just Google it, go look and see. I can pull it up on my screen if need be. It's not as big.
Run that.
Find it.
Run that.
The rock. That is
Find it.
Yeah. You can.
Hold on.
All right.
Now.
I got you. Let me get back. Oh yeah, I gotta share my
Those
screen.
darn, those thugs. Good.
Please don't mind. I got my whole thing up, but
That's what he's
can you see?
Yes, sir.
I'm loving it and a happy meal.
Bye.
Powered by the tea.
That's what's up.
Those thugs just painting stuff like that. How dare they?
That's what's up.
Oh, that's the staple there. Like that rock, you can pretty much paint whatever you want on that. Like that's the staple on there.
So I have an idea, Sharky and Trevor, because y'all are Tennessee football fans. So as of recently, teams do something to sell, mainly the defenses. They do something when they get an interception, get a fumble, sack quarterback, whatever the case may be.
Don't mention
So
trash.
too, I'm thinking they should just get McDonald bags. You see what I'm saying? And just like, and
They
just
should
go
make double.
I
Let's
will
go.
go a step further. They should get chains with the Happy Meal box.
Mm-hmm.
Put that on after each turnover.
Yep.
Bingo.
love it. I love it.
As long as it says.
And
I'm loving
a part of their games, once COVID is over, they should have like one of those little Scantron, Megatron things. What's in the box? What's in the bag? And have people like type text in and like guess and shit.
Y'all are petty.
And have McDonald's.
All y'all are petty.
Hey, y'all remember the McDonald's cards we used to get as kids for getting good grades?
Yep.
They can be passing out.
Remember the coupon book? Remember the coupon book you used to get?
They can pass it at the stadium. Oh man.
So
What's in the box?
what they need to do, man, and also need to add on too, like they did on the longest yard, pull the McDouble out the pants and say you got to protect the McNuggets as well.
It ain't easy being cheesy.
Oh man, but
I just got burgers.
Y'all are
right.
evil.
So obviously, me and Trevor laughing. We have no problems with the stuff going on because guess what? They went 3-7. So Jeremy Pruitt had to go some way somehow. They didn't want to pay the man. So guess what? Pin the scandal, huh? Yes, let's get him out. We ain't got to pay him. We can go ahead. We got to start over anyway.
Yep.
Let go.
This does nothing but goes back to my point. I said this a week or two ago. If you are an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator at Alabama, just stay where you are. You got a job. You see what I'm saying? Like, bro, there's no need to leave Alabama and go and compete against Nick Saban every year because
And Luke,
nobody is staying a coach. I think the only person that's still a coach at this point is
it's,
Jimbo
Kirby
Fisher
Smart. Kirby Smart.
and Kirby Smart.
That's
That's it.
smart, yeah.
That's two out of how many? A
Plenty.
lot.
A lot.
Two out of a lot. If anything, we need to call. If anything, Nick Saban needs to be LinkedIn because he's getting everybody a job.
All right.
Yeah.
He needs to be called LinkedIn.
And Jeremy Pruitt learned this McDonald's bag from somebody, obviously. Like Scott said, everybody's doing this type of stuff.
Everybody's doing it, so I mean,
Nick Saban might even be using a burger.
Yeah.
Nick Saban might be using Chick-fil-A though. That might be the difference.
There you go.
From Ashley Classic.
That's why I said, man, Tennessee, you could at least use Zaxby's or something. I mean,
As long as it won't Burger King.
All right, man. Trevor closes out.
All right, but so if you want to know about, of course, Eric Gray's in the transfer portal. He's getting offers from plenty of schools, including Memphis. So let this serve as a recruiting video for you, Mr. Gray.
Oh,
Come back home. And To'o, right now, he's rumored. Right now, the only two I'm hearing right now is Alabama and Florida, which would be very, very damning to Tennessee if he was to actually transfer to any one of those schools. But on a positive note, the Vols did hire David White, the old athletic director from UCF, and he seems enthusiastic to try and get the work. So we'll see where this goes.
as bad as they want Hugh Freeze, they probably gonna stay away from him for scandal reasons.
It's really only three coaches you can look at, and Hugh Freeze is one of them. So they're probably gonna look at the other two.
Hey, That's all I want. But NBA, Tuke.
Let's go, guys. We are 15, 16 games into the season, and it'll be a great topic for us to talk about and discuss some of our surprise teams that are doing well and our disappointments. And I don't know if y'all want to also do players, but I had players. I had a couple players. I don't know if I did as well. Y'all want to do both?
Do one. As long as it's one. One team, one player.
Yeah.
Are we doing team or player? Both?
Yeah, we got some time. We can get on here.
Okay.
All right. So I'll start it off. Start off with an apology, man. I've been, kind of hoping that the Grizzlies would not win so much for, a certain reason. But I have to give 100% credit to them and what they got going, man. They're my surprise team. I didn't think that there'd be a playoff team right now, especially with them losing Ja, and not having, Triple J and missing, other key players and key points. But the game against the Suns just showed me like this team can definitely make the playoffs. And I know a lot of y'all have said that y'all want, a star player to come to Memphis. I really couldn't see it. But now I'm starting to. So I definitely would like to start the segment off with an apology to my Memphis Grizzlies, because at this point, Taylor Jenkins would be on a hot seat. You know what I'm saying? As a Grizz fan growing up. Like player development, what's that? So it's taking some use to me seeing some consistency within the Grizzlies. So, hey, salute to y'all for waiting on my slowness. So let's start off with prize teams. We can go Sharky, Lito, Trev, and Sheedy.
Well, you took mine, the Grizzlies. Simple, exactly everything you just said. You can say, like we talked about starting five, other teams we getting lucky, they resting players, yada yada. We ain't got our two best players. They were on a 5-game winning streak, and Ja didn't play in 3 of them. So we're beating teams with our backups as well. So that lets you know that we're a deep team. And once Ja Jaren comes back, and hopefully maybe Justice Winslow too, hey, let's go and be on and popping. Do we want to go ahead and do both surprise for players and team and disappointments, or just
okay?
Surprise player. Sure, I need to think about it a little more. I don't really have a surprise player. Ain't everybody doing about what they're supposed to do? I enjoy Embiid, his performance. He's took it to another level, but it's not surprising to me. Man, I knew he was good. Yeah, Sheedy. Speaking of Sheedy, why you doing that? So disappointing team, Miami Heat. I know we had interest, yada yada. No, Miami Heat, disappointment. Straight up. They gotta do better. I gotta see better. Disappointing player. What player is not living up to the task? I can't really think of none right now. Most of the star players are doing what they're supposed to do. I guess Zion's doing well. I don't know what it is. I can't think of a disappointing player right now. So next.
I was on mute. Surprise team. Y'all took mine. Of course, it was the Grizzlies, who I originally wanted to go with. But I'm actually going to say, since y'all took the Grizzlies, I'm actually going to say the Lakers. I'm saying the Lakers because
I can see that.
There were rumors, there were talk about LeBron James taking off. LeBron James has played all 16 games of the season. The Lakers are now 12-4. But it's not just the 12-4. It's how they look defensively. With them losing Dwight Howard, with them losing JaVale McGee, they lost Avery Bradley, and they lost. I'm missing somebody. But then for them to turn around and get
Danny Green.
Danny Green, yeah.
Danny Green, right.
You said defense.
You
said defense.
Agreed. But for them to get Schroeder, for them to get Wesley Matthews, Marcus Gasol, they look really, really good defensively. And with them having the short layoff that they had, and then them turning around and pretty much looking really, really good defensively, to me, that's a surprise within itself. So that's my surprise team. And then if I need to say a surprise player, again, it's still LeBron James. I think, like I said, he was rumored to still potentially take off. This is year, 18, I think, for LeBron. And then you see what he did against Giannis yesterday. I think that's really good. A disappointing team. I don't see many disappointing teams. I think teams are kind of like, I think everything's starting to average out as the season goes on. But the Washington Wizards still suck. Still suck. I don't care who's on the team. The only person that's still good is Bradley Beal. Russell Westbrook, Jesus Christ, sir. You still suck. You still can't shoot. And I didn't think they were. I thought they could at least contend for a playoff spot. They can't even do that. So to me, that's a little surprising. I don't have a surprise disappointing player. I don't.
So I just got my disappointing player for the next person go. Baby KD or KD Jr., whoever that is on Golden State, the lights can't do. Very, very disappointing.
Oh,
very,
from the
very,
Tuna King, yeah.
Yeah, very, very disappointing.
I knew it was coming too.
Oh, Kelly Oubre, man. Very disappointing. Yeah, just came to my mind.
Yeah. Okay, so it's on me. So surprising team. Since our buddy is not on here, I'll do him justice. And I'm actually gonna go with the New York Knicks as being one of the surprising teams. They're currently at 500. They're sitting at 8th currently in the Eastern Conference. They're first in about 4 defensive categories, including points allowed, opponent field goal percentage, and opponent 3-point percentage, if I'm not mistaken, as well. What Tom Thibodeau has done, also Julius Randle is just looking like an all-star this year. And RJ Barrett is starting to come into his own as well. Definitely kudos to the Knicks. Shout out to Savage. Shout out to Coach Savage, who kind of brought them up before the season even started. Surprising player. I'm going to bring it back home with this one. I'm actually going to go with Kyle Anderson. And throughout this time that Ja Morant has been out, you've seen Kyle Anderson start to look a tad bit more aggressive, like starting to look for his shot more, starting to look to create for himself more, on top of creating for others, because we all know that he was kind of like our pseudo point guard during that time that Ja Morant was out. Disappointing teams right now. I mean, like Skylar said, things are starting to kind of average out a little bit with the NBA and things of that nature. But I'm going to say the Milwaukee Bucks. I know they're still doing well, but just from watching them, it's the same thing, different year at this point with them. And if it wasn't evident in the game against the Nets, it was more evident in the game against the Lakers. Like the last few minutes of the game or the last few seconds for a game for the Bucks, I don't trust their offense at all. Like Giannis looks like he doesn't even want the ball. I think that was the last possession against the Nets. Giannis was even in the play. Like he was at half court just trying not to get fouled so he wouldn't have to go to the line and shoot free throws. It wasn't even clamps. It just he was not even in the play. And they had to force the ball to Chris Middleton. And they legit ended up having to do the same thing in the game against the Lakers. So if I had to go disappointing team, it would definitely be the Bucks, because all this is great now. But once they get to the playoffs, they're going to run to someone who's better. And the league at this point has figured Giannis out at this point. They're just going to run to someone better. They're going to be eliminated soon, whether it be first round, conference finals if they get that far, or the conference semis. Disappointing player, and I hope my wife is watching, and oh, how the mighty have fallen. I will definitely have to say Blake Griffin at this point. I don't even know if he's right now. Yes. I said, oh, how the mighty have fallen.
DC playing.
Hey, Blake balled last season. He balled last season. That's a good one.
He didn't even play last season.
Taking 35 mil this season. I don't even think he's averaging 20 right now. He built his name being able to dunk on people. He has yet to register a dunk this season. Put 13 games in. So it's
over.
Pretty much to say that Blake may be washed. And while I'm on the topic of Detroit, free Derrick Rose. That's all I got to say.
Amen.
Oh, man. You added a new cog to this one, too, when you asked about the players. But I want to keep with the disappointments first. And my team, like Skylar, was actually the Wizards. So talk about like pre-bubble before the season ended. into before they went to the bubble and embarrassed themselves. They were 4-4 going into the bubble. And then we all know what happened in the bubble. They lost every game but the last one against the Celtics. And the only reason they beat the Celtics was because the Celtics were resting everybody. But what I'm saying is pre-bubble, this team was, to Skylar's point, ready to make a playoff push and a playoff run. Now you have Brody, an MVP, so to speak, right? Tagged with Scott Brooks again. Last time that Scott Brooks and Brody were together, Brody was doing 28-8-7. What are you doing now? Need to be sitting on the bench. I know he's hurt, right? He didn't play, but that game right after January 9th that he sat out, they played the Suns. And guess what they did? They won. And so to me, get rid of Russell Westbrook again. I don't know how you get rid of him, but he's definitely a disappointment for them. And they just have lack of defense. They're the first team in points per game, the Wizards. First. They're not first because they're scoring a lot of points to win games. They're first because they're getting their asses beat, and then they're trying to pick up the score from there. No, they're terrible. No defense, lack of presence for the rebounds as well. So the Wizards get my disappointing team. My disappointment player actually goes to Mr. D'Angelo Russell for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I say that because the Timberwolves themselves are disappointing. And then you are the guard. You are the leader of this ship. This is what you wanted. You wanted to play with Karl Anthony Towns, and you're proving that you are good enough for 3 wins. D'Angelo Russell currently is averaging 21 points and 6 assists. That's not going to get it cut and done when you have Karl Anthony Towns kind of, in and out mentally, along with a rookie guard as well. Now, my surprise player goes to Julius Randle from the New York Knicks. To your point, Trevor, the Knicks, and to Savage's point, the Knicks are balling, and they're playing great ball. But let's just talk about Julius Randle himself. Mr. Randle is currently averaging 22, 11, and 6. 22, 11, and 6. I think the Lakers might want him back at some point when Anthony Davis isn't feeling well. And to my surprise team, this should go without a surprise at all, is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And let me give you a few stats as to why I get that. I did a lot of research about this one. The Cavs out of 14 games, yes, I get it. They're 7-7, right? But we didn't expect them to even be that good through 14 games. Out of 14 games, they've literally had 10 different starting lineups. So when we talk about chemistry and what's going on with, like, I don't know, any other team that's out with COVID and stuff like that, there's no excuse, to the point that you made, Sharky, about the Heat missing out on players, right? The Cavs are getting it done. And with 2 players that could possibly contend for MIP with Garland and Sexton. Now, I know they got rid of Kevin Porter Jr. Remember, this guy had a weapons charge on him. And the story is he also, when Prince got traded, they got rid of Kevin Porter's locker. So they had a little food tantrum fight. And, they kind of, you can go on somewhere. So there's a new culture that's being set there from the great J.B. Bickerstaff, who used to coach us as well. Yeah, hey, just used to coach.
The great, man. You using
the great.
Strong word right there.
It is, because I met him in person. That's why.
Okay.
And I just want to say this real quick, and I'll go. Average is 101 points per game. Okay, that's the league average. That's what everyone's scoring pretty much across the league. The Cleveland Cavaliers have held 9 teams under that during their games, and 4 of those were under 100 points. So this Cavs team may not be scoring like that, but they're playing some great defense. And this is without Kevin Love, right? They're missing, quote unquote, probably one of their star players right now, but Colin Sexton has really turned it on for them, and so is Garland there as well, who's, again, those are 2 players that can look at for MIP. Dark horses, of course, in the words of Savage. But that's my pick for the surprise team at this point.
So Kevin Love is basically Blake Griffin. They're done.
He hasn't been playing.
He hasn't been
Blake
on
Griffin. Blake Griffin was playing for this year too.
He hasn't been on the court a lot for me to make that distinction. Like, I watched the last Pistons game, and guess
they on the same trajectory. Because Blake Griffin was playing last year either. So I'm
like, Blake, you
I don't believe Kevin Love can look like Blake Griffin when he come back. Whenever he come back, if he come back. But to your point about the Cavs and Knicks, the Knicks are on the 8-8 as well, so they're typically bad franchises. So getting 8-8 and 7-7 is really good for them too.
Yeah, Knicks at 8, Cavs at 6.
And honestly, most of the league is like the same. Got like the same record outside of like the Lakers, the Jazz. That's the surprise team. They got disappointed with like the Raptors and all of them, but yeah.
Good job, gentlemen. I guess I ended with giving my surprise player. It's actually going to be Kevin Durant. Coming from an Achilles injury, now averaging.
I mean,
hold on, Achilles, bro.
Achilles
injury.
I give him that.
Like that's been career ending for a lot of our favorite players, and he's averaging one a game. If it weren't for Brad Beal averaging 35 a game, which is crazy. Like he'd be averaging the most in the league coming off an Achilles. Like, I didn't think he'd be balling out this one.
Let me ask you this question, my alien brother, and I want you to be 100% honest with me. When we did the show and we was talking about MVP, who was your MVP again?
Devin Booker.
Who was your MVP again?
Devin Booker.
It was Devin Booker.
Oh, it was Devin Booker. Okay.
Yeah, it was Booker.
Yeah. You don't know. Y'all thought it was KD. No, I didn't pick KD because I thought that he was going to, take a couple of games to, get his groove back. He came out balling. That's surprising.
As Savage and I have been saying, which is why he was our MVP pick. But I just wanted to fact check you and make sure that it wasn't you as well. Okay.
No, bro. I actually got my notes still right here. If you want to really fact check them, everybody else.
I just making sure, man. That's all. I gotta look out for you. I gotta look out for
man.
you.
Come on. Kevin Durant, my favorite player. I
know. That's why I gotta look out for you, dude. I gotta call you out when.
It's Achilles, man. Achilles, like a year and a half of not playing ball. Like, hey, salute to y'all for picking him for MVP.
Yeah, I mean, I get it because it was possible because and I'm not diminishing it in any way, but Breonna Stewart basically did the exact same thing, so it was possible. So,
hey, I mean, you tried and we've seen that go. So
that is true. That's true. See, Blake Griffin.
So let's talk about the team, which is actually funny that Blake Griffin was supposed to have been playing on this season, which is actually my most disappointing team, the Nuggets. I thought they'd be playing better basketball, even though Jokic is averaging a triple-double. Michael Porter Jr. has only played 4 games, so I guess that has something to do with it. But, there's 7. I think they can get better, but they've been a little disappointed right now as far as like losing to the team that they should be able to be at a point in their careers. And Jamal Murray is not even averaging 20 points a game. After we stopped from the bubble, I expected at least 22, 23. So it's a little disappointing, but I think they'll get the ball rolling as the season progresses. And I guess this one player, y'all brought him up earlier. It's a guy that averaged 18 points a season last season. I had a lot of hopes for it, and for some reason, he's just averaging career low in points per game, career low in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage, and that is Mr. Kelly Oubre. I don't know what's going on with him, but
trash.
I'm gonna pray for him.
Trash.
I mean, he averaged 18 a game last season. Like, he wasn't that trash. I don't know, man.
And the Phoenix Suns fans were glad that he wasn't in the bubble. Phoenix Suns fans were glad that he wasn't in the bubble, and they went 8-0. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Damn, that's tough.
Having the Warriors still in playoff contention, but yeah, Kelly Oubre is definitely, yeah, yeah,
such a shame.
Yep.
But let's move on to some more disappointments. Skylar, the NFL coaches.
Keep getting them on mute. Thank you so much for that transition, Tuck. So we will move on to the NFL headlines. What we'll talk about first are some of the coaching hires that have been made around the NFL. More so the lack of diversity that's been that has happened, I guess, with some of these coaching hires. I think from what we have so far, there's only been one minority coach that's gotten the job, and that's Robert Saleh of the New York Jets. So some teams that have field coaching vacancies are, of course, we got one Arthur Smith who went to the Falcons. You have Urban Meyer, a little surprising, at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brandon Staley, um, I don't remember him even being a candidate at all before a lot of these vacancies happened. And then the Eagles, Nick Sirianni. It sounds like he loves Italian food or something like that. He's been hired by the Philadelphia Eagles. And so, what I want us to talk about quickly before we talk about the games on Sunday is what's the reasoning that we are not seeing minority coaches being hired in the NFL? I'll go Sharky too, Sheedy, and then Trevor. And then I'll go. What's going on, y'all?
Same old shit, just a different year.
There you go. That's a good answer within itself.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, you literally took the words right out of my mouth with that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a no fun at all league, and no fun league, and it's same shit, different year. That's what's up.
Yeah, and I'll try to make this as brief as I can. I know we're talking about the third round pick being more of an incentive to interview black coaches. But until the NFL, and hear me out, until the NFL players are more like the WNBA players, they're going to keep getting coaches that don't look like them. And what I mean by that is if you watch, sports and everything like that, WNBA really stands on what they believe in, whether that is injustices or what have you. They didn't allow that one lady to buy the Atlanta Dream actually as well. And so like they are standing against them. And until NFL locks arms and says of the 70% that look like us say, hey, nah, man, I'm about to play for him. Like there's no turning the page about it. To y'all's point, it's the same stuff, just a different day, different year. And so what is it going to take for us to change that? I think Dan Ornowski said it greatly, man. And that's a white guy saying what he said. And of course, you guys can Google the clip when you have time. But it makes no sense for us, the same people that play this game, know this game in and out, sleep this in and out, to not be coaching at the highest level, not be GMs at the highest level, when it's happening at every other level, except for NCAA as often, and especially at the highest level, NFL.
Good point.
Well, for me, I echo all of you guys' sentiments here. I think what kind of pissed me off the most was Eric Bieniemy. Like of course, for those who don't know, the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, who was definitely highly regarded as a potential coaching candidate. Who a lot of us, if things weren't the way they are in the NFL, if things were the way they're supposed to be, he would definitely have a head coaching job. But what pissed me off even more is the fact that he knows he wants to be an NFL coach. He knows he should be an NFL coach. And let's be real, he's responsible for probably the greatest offense Andy Reid has ever had, ever. Like, ever. Think how long Andy Reid has been in the NFL. And a black man is responsible for putting together probably his best offense ever since he's been in there. And for him to not even receive a head coaching job, and then for him to the audacity and the gall of the media to basically have to force this man to even address it, and he has to do it with a smile on his face, because I know deep down he's PO'd because he knows what he deserves, was just mind-boggling to me. But as you guys said, man, it's same stuff, just a different year.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be frustrated about this particular topic because it's something we've kind of talked about every single year. And the reason it's not happening is because GM owners, they are looking for a specific thing every single year of what they're looking for in a coach. And it changes every year. Many times brilliantly talked about this on NFL Live. She talks about how the goalpost has moved so much for what a NFL coach should look like or should do that the goalpost is no longer in the damn stadium. They change every year what they want to look for, and so they change every year what they want to look for because they don't want to hire a black person. But it doesn't make sense to me because you have coaches like Todd Bowles, who's a really good damn defensive coordinator in Tampa Bay, has his team in the NFC Championship. He's a good candidate. Trevor talked about Eric Bieniemy, who's a damn good offensive mind for the Kansas City Chiefs. He doesn't get a job thanks to, I didn't even mention this, Dan Campbell for the Detroit Lions. For those who have not seen the interview, terrible. To say that. Who else is a good one? Todd Bowles, Eric Bieniemy, Leslie Frazier, good defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. You have coordinators, Pep Hamilton, Jesus Christ, led Andrew Luck to the great career that he had. If you don't want to at least look what he did with Justin Herbert. And goddamn, if that's not good enough for what an NFL coach look like, I have no idea what he should look like at this point. So it's frustrating. I'm trying not to get so worked up about it because it's the same thing every year. Again, I talked about this earlier. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And the NFL has showed us that they will now hire a black coach, but they'd be quick to hire a defensive coordinator that's black, though.
Remember, Detroit Lions fired Jim Caldwell after a winning season.
I was just about to go there.
Yeah, they were 9-7.
Trevor also mentioned Byron Leftwich.
Tampa Bay. He's going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah,
I want to ask y'all.
It's pretty sad.
I want to ask y'all this. Lito just named three great black coaches, or I guess coordinators, or whatever, that should have a job at next year as a head coach of a team because they're still in the playoffs. I guess once the playoffs are over, what are the chances that y'all see at least one of those black coaches get a job, as a head coach?
It's only one team left.
Yeah, there's only one team that has an opening, if I'm not mistaken.
And Deshaun Watson on the way out, so
yeah, and that's Houston. And they talking about bringing in Josh McCown as an OC. Or we could go to the next topic right there.
Yeah.
It's sad, bro. It's really, really sad. Okay, so I guess on a brighter note, we have the championship games on Sunday for the NFL. Man, we've come a long way, y'all.
And these black coordinators.
Man, black coordinators. I think it's 3. Leslie Frazier, Byron Leftwich.
He's not 3.
Yeah. Who's the
Todd Bowles.
And Eric Bieniemy.
Eric
Bieniemy. 4. All of them. 4. Yeah, on all teams. That's crazy. Yeah. I think start off for Sunday, we have the Green Bay Packers going against Tampa Bay. We have the great Aaron Rodgers going against the great, possibly the GOAT, Tom Brady. On Sunday, this is a trip for the Super Bowl that's on the line. So I'm going to go Trevor, Sheedy, Tuke, Sharky, and of course I go last. Tell me who y'all got winning.
So we're doing Green Bay, Tampa Bay first. Give me the Packers. It's supposed to snow at Lambeau. It's going to be like a clash of defenses of whose defense is going to make more plays, and I think it'll be Green Bay. They're going to force Tom Brady to throw the ball down the field. Chris Godwin, hasn't been able to hold on to the ball for like the past few weeks. Of course, Mike Evans is hobbled. Antonio Brown was just ruled out earlier this week, so they're going to force Tom Brady to throw the ball down the field to even have a chance. Don't think it's going to happen, especially with everything going on in Green Bay, with it possibly snowing. It's going to be, you know how it is playing at Lambeau when it's snowing in January. So give me the Packers. As far as a score, I would actually go. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. We'll get to Tunica Trevor later. I'm going to go 27-17 Green Bay.
I started off the podcast this year with the NFL, and I told y'all Aaron Rodgers is back this year, and he was pissed off about that draft that the Packers made in the first round. And he's proven that he's an MVP candidate. He should win the MVP. The Buccaneers have absolutely no one to guard Devontae. Absolutely nobody. And so I'm not even about to be like, switch it up and like, the Buccaneers. No, the Packers. I'm riding my pick on out. to go ahead and make it to the actual championship game. It was cute while it lasted, Tampa Bay, but I got the Packers winning it, and I got them winning handily.
Y'all gonna sit here and disrespect the GOAT like that? Wow.
Yeah, you can run the tape back if you need to.
Yeah.
Give me Tampa Bay, man. Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. This is one of Tom Brady's last hurrahs, you know, for him to go against Drew Brees and now Aaron Rodgers and then possibly Pat Mahomes. I'm gonna go with Tom Brady on this one.
Before Sharky goes, I'm gonna show you just how much karma is a real big thing with all these quarterbacks. I think the only one that probably didn't go out the way that we probably expected was probably Phillip Rivers. So this game is being played in Green Bay. This game is possibly going to be in the snow. Last time Tom Brady played a game in the snow, if I'm not mistaken, it could be since then, was the tuck rule, which in actuality he fumbled. Let's just be real. Green Bay wins it, and they close it out with Tom Brady fumbling one of the last plays for Tampa Bay. Tom Brady gets sack fumble or something.
You know what?
That's how Tom Brady will go out.
We taking the Tunica out your name for a reason, brother. That's nah, give me the Bucks, man. It's gonna be a close one. Give me Bucks 24-20, man.
Okay.
Y'all probably know me and Skyler's pick because we've been on this same wagon on the opposite spectrum all year. So I'm like Sheedy. I've picked the Packers all year. Last week, nobody's talking about it because Drew Brees looked that bad, but he wasn't on the quarterback that did not look good in that game. Tom Brady didn't look good either. The turnovers that they forced helped him to get his stats a little better than what he actually looked like in the actual game. So, man, give me I want to do this. It's a quote, man. Lil Wayne once said, "I'm a cheesehead. Y'all N-words cheese whiz. Go Pack, go. Let's go."
Good reference. I think this game will come down to which defense can create pressure on the opposing team's quarterback. Because I think we both know with these two particular quarterbacks, if you don't create pressure on Tom Brady, if you don't create pressure on Aaron Rodgers, good night. And so if you have to ask me which team can potentially create more pressure on the opposing team's quarterback, I'm going Tampa Bay. Levante David, Devin White, Jesus Christ. If you do watch film on him last week, he absolutely balled against the New Orleans Saints. JPP is still over there, and Ndamukong still over there. Vita Vea is back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think their defense is going to be able to create a little bit more pressure for their team to maybe confuse Aaron Rodgers, maybe have him think a little bit longer than he probably wants to. And then, of course, Todd Bowles is over there, probably one of the best defensive minds in the game. So I'm going Tampa Bay. I've been riding Tampa Bay for some reason all year, and I'm still on it. So I'm going Tampa Bay 35, Green Bay 24 is what I'm going with. I don't care about the snow. No, I don't care about the snow. That means nothing to me. It's only the wind. The wind is a factor. Snow don't mean nothing to me. Anything else on the game before we move on? Cool. Going to the AFC Championship game. So we have two of the older quarterbacks in the NFL. In the NFC Championship, we have two of the younger quarterbacks for the AFC. So you have Patrick Mahomes coming off concussion and a toe injury, and against the Cleveland Browns too. We ain't forgot about you, sir. And going against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. So same order, Samuel, you got winning.
This one was really tough for me, to be honest with you, because Kansas City didn't look that great last week against Cleveland. Like, that game was very much wonderful for the Browns. Buffalo has been on a roll practically since they beat Steelers. Let's just be honest. But because this game is in Kansas City, if this game was in Buffalo, I would have definitely picked the Bills to win this game. But because this game is in Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes is going to suit up. Let's be real. Commandment number 1, thou shalt not pick against Patrick Mahomes. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs to reach the Super Bowl. And I will go, this one will actually be close. I'm going to go 27-24 Chiefs.
The pick.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you're right. Scott picked up on a great point. Last week, the Browns beat the Chiefs or lost to the Chiefs. And so I just wanted to, this is a light tuna. Yeah. So anyways, back to the I just picked it up for you today.
Episode for you to bring that.
And so yes, that did happen. And now back to this week. I'm riding with my pick, man. I'm going balls to the wall for the Bills, man. And I'm gonna circle the wagon with the Bills as well. I agree that it's not. I agree it's going to be a close game, but I just got the Bills winning this one, man. I got something. I'm feeling about it. I already called the AFC Championship game, and I said it was going to be the Bills versus the Colts anyway. So I got one of my teams in, and I am going to go to the second commandment and go against Patrick Mahomes himself. So give me the Bills. Bills Packers.
Look, as far as this season goes, as far as like the second commandment go, I'm pretty much a Pat Mahomes atheist at this point, and this has nothing to do with not liking him. I love the way he plays, but it's like it's just fun to root against him, and you know, especially against a Bills team that I've watched, you know, literally from the ground up and see their exposure. So I'm gonna ride out with them. With this one, I'm gonna ride out with the Bills. 27. I say 27-24 too. I think their defense will come up, even though it's Pat Mahomes. But let's be honest, man. I appreciate you, Sheedy, for bringing it up. Like that game was really winnable against the Browns. I mean, for the Browns. So, you know, I hope the tuna starts to sink on your shoulder. I hope it sinks up the rest of your house. And you know, I'm gonna go Bills with this one.
Man, let's be real. That game was winnable because Patrick Mahomes got hurt.
Thank you. That was it.
They rolling up and down the field before he got hurt. That's real.
I didn't want to acknowledge the obvious, but yeah.
Let's be real.
Come on.
I know the little fumble. I know the little fumble touchback into him and all that stuff happened before halftime, but Kansas City still, even if they scored a touchdown, can't. If Patrick Mahomes never get hurt, that is not a contest. But the Browns still play hard. They kept in there. Probably should still found a way to win, but let Chad Hen get a 15 yards, then get a fourth down pass. Andy Reid's a bad man to go for a fourth down back of quarterback. That's all I got to say on that end. But these Bills, their offense have cooled off significantly since the playoffs began. They've won because of their defense. They won because of their defense. Their defense have won against the Kansas City Chiefs, though. They've been going against Phillip Rivers and Lamar Jackson. Pat Mahomes, a different story, buddy.
There you go.
Give me Chiefs.
Agree with Sharky. The only reason that the game was close, one, the kicker was missing kicks. Those are the other reasons the game was close. Kicker was missing kicks. Patrick Mahomes was hurt. Those two things don't happen. I kind of think Cleveland gets blown out in the game, but that's just me. And that was last week. Moving toward this week. Trevor said that the first commandment is that thou should not bet against Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not betting against him. Patrick Mahomes is probably one of the best quarterbacks that I've ever seen in my entire life. Pretty much last week, he would have scored on every possession. And I don't think the Bills' defense is as good as advertised because Phillip Rivers lit them up. Phillip Rivers really, in my opinion, they should have won the game. The only reason they didn't win the game is they didn't get that fumble that Josh Allen, I'm not sure what the hell he was doing, and lost like 30, 40 yards. That's the only reason that they won the game. And then last week, Bills' offense did not look that good. Mm-hmm. I know it's against Baltimore defense, but
that pick six got them 17. They don't score 10 points. Really?
Right, exactly. So they hadn't looked that good, in my opinion. And the last time that I checked, nobody has been able to guard Travis Kelce. Nobody has been able to guard Tyreek Hill in the passing game. So therefore, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. Don't have a score, but I'm feeling pretty confident with that pick. And that's it.
Cool. Trevor, close us out with your championship game picks.
All right. Tunica Trevor, no Tunica Trevor, however you want to call me. Probably gonna have our first none. Some people will call it a portion for a parlay. As far as both games concerned, I would definitely take the under for both games. The AFC Championship over/under is at 54. The NFC Championship is at 51. I'm definitely taking the under in both of those games. For the Bills to have a chance, basically to even get it above 54, you got to hold Patrick Mahomes under 25, and that's holding Patrick Mahomes under 25 is like trying to hold the Golden State Warriors, the old Golden State Warriors, under 100. It's not. It's rarely going to happen. Then with the game being in the snow in Green Bay, I just don't see it being a full-blown shootout as a lot of people anticipate. Some additional bets that I would take as well that could possibly get you paid. For the NFC Championship, I bet on a possible special team / defensive touchdown to be scored in that game. I believe the odds of that is at plus 275, so a $100 bet would get you 275 if it actually happens. And for the AFC Championship, I'd go with a 2-point conversion actually being converted in the AFC Championship as well. So there you go. Take the honors for both games. Bet on the defensive or special teams touchdown in the NFC Championship, and bet on a 2-point conversion in the AFC Championship. So there you go.
Cool. Nice.
You might have to change your name to Horseshoe, Trevor.
But before we end off, we'd be remiss to mention this. Tunica. Switch back to tuna. This tuna situation. So y'all want this? Y'all didn't see this. This was after the episode.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was the bet that went on. Now I didn't know if the bet got canceled because Pat Mahomes got hurt. I just need y'all to clarify.
I didn't get any correspondence about that. It was about will the Browns win or will the Chiefs win?
Okay. So Sheedy, Took, off this average party, but it's just between y'all two, right? Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. When you shake on it.
Well, I'm a man of my word, and if the Browns would have won, I actually would have had a tuna sandwich ready for myself to consume. What I will do, my Cash App is down. I'm not going to lie to you, but I will Amazon Prime you the $3.50 it's going to take for you to get that tuna melt from Burger King, from the lobby from Burger King, and have it on the next episode. That's it. That's it. There's nothing more for me to say. You should learn. I guess that's the first commandment, not to bet against Patrick Mahomes. Well, 2, you should know the third commandment, I guess, not to bet with me, because you're about 0 for 2. So try me if you want to, but you better be having a tuna sandwich next week.
Cool, Sheedy be interested this week.
I'm trying to remain joking. I'm just trying to remain joyful.
Best way to be.
Taking my joy away.
Did you say something about Chloe earlier, though?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what it is. Dang.
Did he?
Yeah, but he know it did too, didn't it?
Wow, that was on January 17th.
We love receipts. We love receipts.
I deleted my Twitter.
Why you over there? Why you over there? Relevant people to follow. Ain't that you? Ain't that you over there?
The far right.
Hey, that's Twitter. That's just so happened to pop up.
Show them who you are. Remember where you came from. Well, you should remember.
This is bullying. This is bullying at its finest.
Maybe you should just go to get the early platter for $5.
I'm writing a letter to Biden. I'm writing a letter to Biden.
You have eaten tuna and grits together. We eat.
I'm not eating no damn grits with that.
All right. I'm waiting for my play, man. See y'all this side. Peace.
Peace, y'all.